How's it hanging, YouTube? This is King of Feral Limps, and I've got a Monarch structure deck, or not structure deck profile. I keep mixing those up and stuff lately, but I did get 3 of the structure decks as you saw in the video last week, and you know, I figured I'd at least sort of do some sort of deck profile, you know, to kind of talk about it, I guess. Now, I will say, I am, this is incomplete. I'm missing cards. There are some cards that I still need to get around to getting, and then, well, the worst part is they've actually gone up in price, especially since the adjusted list. So I'm just going to give a profile of this. It's still good. It's still a good deck, even with the stuff that I'm currently using. It will still do good, and like, of course, they're not the main cards, because the main cards are all the new stuff that came out. You know, the important stuff in the thumbnail and whatever. So I'm just going to go ahead and profile it and sort of talk about it. Now, I'm not a huge expert on this deck, but I have been playing it, and I do like it, and I've been checking some other things out. This is the build I'm currently using. It's not done at all, so any suggestions, leave them, and I'll probably update this within 2 weeks when I actually end up trading for the other cards I need. So just gonna get started. So first off for monsters is Triple Edia, the Heavenly Monarch, and let's see if I can fit him. Triple Erebus, the Underworld Monarch. Now, these things sort of go hand in hand, and they have similar effects. Both of their effects are that you can tribute summon them using one tribute summon monster as the tribute material, I guess. So basically, anything you have that's tributed, you can go ahead and sack that off for this, rather than having to tribute 2 cards, but if you absolutely need to, because, you know, there are ways of doing that. And then, once they're tribute summoned, you can ditch 2 Monarch spell or trap cards from your hand or your deck to get an additional effect. Aether special summons a one of the smaller Monarchs, well, basically a monster with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense from the deck, but is returned to your hand during the end phase. And then Erebus has the effect that you get to randomly shuffle 1 card from your opponent's hand into your deck. So that's some really good stuff. They do have other additional effects that you can do. This one, it was, you know, you summon it during your opponent's turn, like or you tribute summon it during your opponent's turn as a quick effect, you can. And this one, Erebus, has the effect that you can go ahead and return a Monarch from your graveyard to your hand by banishing a Monarch spell or trap card from the grave, of course, while he's in the grave. So they've got, like, you know, some decent, some good effects. They're really good. Their main effects are the best, and then their secondary effects are also pretty good. But, you know, playing 3 of each, you pretty much have to, because they're the core of the deck. Well, they're some of the core of the deck. The next core of it is 3 Edia and 3, what's his name? Edios. Let's see if we can get that to look nice. Now, what these guys do is they're basically the tribute fodder. Now, Edia, when you normal summon or special summon her, I'm just going to go ahead and special summon another Squire from the deck, but mostly it's going to be Edios. And Edios, when he's summoned, you get an additional normal summon that turn. So normally normal summoning Edia to special summon Edios from the deck, and then Edios gives you extra normal summon, and then you get 2 monsters to tribute from there. They do have other additional effects, is that when Edia is sent to the graveyard, you can go ahead and target one of your banished Monarch spell or trap cards and add it back to your hand, and then Edios, while he's in the grave, you can banish a Monarch spell or trap card from your graveyard to special summon another Squire, so mostly Edia, and then that will actually trigger Edia's effect, so they've got some good synergy. So, you know, these 4 monsters, playing 3 copies of each, that's basically the core to your deck, and makes everything work. And then, just some additional monsters. 3 of these, now, these are the cards that should be some other cards. I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen, what they should be. Should be like a Mega Caius, a Mega Thestalos, and a Kuraz, but as I mentioned, those are some of the cards that have gone up in price and that I mean to get around to, but currently, you could still have a decent deck playing without them, but if you're going to go to anything like super meta, you really should be playing those. These are just the substitutes I'm using until then, and they work out alright. And then just 3 copies of Effect Veiler for a good hand trap. Now, you could use Maxi, but that's even more that you would have to pick up if you don't have those, but like, really, especially with like the recent hit to Pepe, it's not so needed. I mean, you know, Maxi could come in handy, but like, Effect Veiler does work for some good effect negation, because other than that, there's really no effect negation in the deck, and having it in hand isn't that bad because, you know, it's a good hand trap. And you have so many other things that you could just help draw during your turn. Anyway, that's all for monsters. Now for the spells, 3 copies of Pantheism of the Monarchs. Now what this does is, when it's activated, you basically get to send a Monarch spell or trap card from your hand to the graveyard to draw 2 cards, so it's like a draw card. But in the graveyard, it's got another effect, is that you can banish it from the graveyard to take 3 Monarch spell or trap cards from your deck, show them to your opponent picks 1, and then that gets added to your hand, and of course, you can only use each effect once per turn, but like, that's one of the main effects, is that it nets you some draw, and then while it's in the grave, you banish it, and it nets you some more, adding cards from your deck to your hand. So it's just a really good and important card. Of course, that's why it's a super. Then is 3, Tenacity of the Monarchs. Basically what this is you reveal a Monarch from your hand. Now it doesn't have to be a Monarch, it's just a monster with 2,400 attack and 1,000 defense, or 2,800 attack and 1,000 defense, but I'm going to refer to it as a Monarch or a Mega Monarch because that's basically what it's supposed to be. And then after you reveal that, you get to add 1 Monarch spell or trap card from your deck to your hand, except Tenacity of the Monarchs. So this helps you search things out, all your spells and traps, all the stuff you need. It's just very useful. Of course, you can only use once per turn, and again, it does require you to actually have a Monarch in your hand in order to use it, but you can normally get that off. Then is 3, the Monarch's Stormforth. Now this card is just so good, basically Soul Exchange, but it's a quick play, and it lets you tribute your opponent's monster from one of your monsters, which is great. Of course, you can't special summon from the extra deck this turn, but like, who cares, because we don't even play an extra deck. Also, it does let you bait out some stuff and scare your opponent, so, it's really good for that. And then, the last 3 of his 3, Domain of the True Monarch. This field spell is just crazy. It lets you do a bunch of stuff. While it's on the field, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, which, that's already huge. Just having this on board, and it just blocks out your opponent. It does have some other effects, is that you can reduce the level of 1 Monarch in your hand to by 2 to let you tribute summon the big guys for only 1 tribute, and it also gives them like 800 attack an 800 attack point boost when they declare an attack. But like, the main thing is it just blocks your opponent out of the extra deck, which is very, very crucial. And then next, playing 2 of each of these spell and trap cards. Let's see, Return of the Monarchs and March of the Monarchs. This basically prevents your tribute summon monsters from being targeted or destroyed by card effects, and then this, whenever you tribute summon basically a Monarch, you get to add a Monarch from your deck to your hand. And again, I'm paraphrasing when I say Monarchs. I'm playing 2 of each of these because it increases the chance to draw them, and then of course, if I already have one in play, I can easily send the other from the deck to the graveyard as fodder to activate either Ether's or Erebus's effect. So that's just really good. And then, aside from that, the last 2 cards are just 1 Reinforcement of the Army and a 1-for-1. Both these serve the same purpose, just to bring out Edia to go ahead and get her effect, and then start your tribute summoning engine. And anyway, that's all for the spells. Lastly, just for the traps, are simple stuff. 2 of each of these cards. Let me try and... yeah, the Prime Monarch and Escalation of the Monarchs. Now, the Prime Monarch, basically, while it's in the grave, you can banish another Monarch spell or trap card to special summon as a monster, and it's not treated as a trap. So that's some even more tribute fodder. And then Escalation of the Monarchs is that during your opponent's turn, immediately after this effect resolves, you can tribute summon a monster. But it's only during the main or battle phase, but that is insanely useful, because if you go ahead and you combine that with the Monarch Stormforth, which is a quick play, so... quick play lets you tribute your opponent's monsters this turn, and then Escalation lets you actually summon during your opponent's turn, so you can actually tribute one of their monsters. You could tribute one of their monsters to tribute summon a monster during their turn, which is crazy insane. Which that's just really good. And I mean, this does have another effect that while it's a spell, while it's activated as a trap, you can go ahead and I don't even know, I haven't even used it. You can target 2 Monarch spell or trap cards in your graveyard and shuffle them into the deck. Then you draw 1 card. So it's mini Pot of Avarice there. I even had to read this card. I barely use that effect. But again, reason I'm playing 2 of each is as fodder for the main guys to send from the deck to the graveyard. And 2 of these works because you can easily get them in the graveyard, and even drawing them isn't that bad because you can still ditch them with stuff like the Pantheism. I considered even bringing this one up to 3, which maybe I will. But I feel like two of most of the stuff, like all of the really important stuff, playing 3 copies of it is good, and then like the other stuff that's still good, playing 2 copies of each of them. And again, same reason I'm playing 2 of these, one to use as fodder. And that's it for the main deck. Anyway, that's been it for this Monarch deck profile, which is a really neat deck. And again, it's pretty easy to build because all you got to do pick up 3 copies of the structure deck, which I've already done, and then after that you do have to find some other stuff, but it's not too hard because it can be done. I still need to do that, but like I said, even like straight from the box, you could play it and it's still a good deck because this is the main core that makes it good, and you get all of these in the structure deck. So anyway, let me know what you think of it, if you have any suggestions or ideas, or if by chance you happen to see the price of one of the Monarch cards I need go down, I'll see that comment and then I'll go ahead and check eBay or TCG Player, head to my local shop or whatever. But basically, let me know what you think of it so far. And if you're currently in the process of building a Monarch deck, let me know how that's going. Are you, do you have any ideas, any other ideas that you're using? Did you get any good trades for the cards that you needed? Did you have the foresight to get them beforehand? Which, even better. I don't know. Let's just have a nice chat in the comments below. Also, remember to subscribe if you enjoyed the content and leave a like to show your support. This has been King of Pharaoh Imps. Have a nice day.